G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Gorge to watch two of the world's best players face off in a 1v1 battle on the brand new Dynasties of the East expansion pack. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our players for today because we got some good ones. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the color teal, cyan, light blue, playing as the Order of the Dragon, the Holy Roman Empire variant, it's Core. And on the north side of the map, in the color green, playing as the Macedonian dynasty, the Byzantine variant, it's Zertan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gorge. A pleasure to have your company on this absolutely lovely, you know what? Absolutely gorgeous map. Sorry, I had to do it. Yeah, okay, anyway. Let's get to it and talk a little bit about what we are expecting to see today. First and foremost, I'm expecting to see action. These two civilizations are known for their units. So when it comes to the Macedonians, I'm going to be looking out for big upgrades today. On the side of the Order of the Dragon, I'm just going to be looking for big damage. They got big units, big numbers. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. So anyway, if you're looking forward to it, leave a like down below and let's get into it and start talking a bit about the Macedonians. Of course, our focus today is going to be on the Macedonians. They are the brand new civilization. Let's see what Zertan is cooking because it definitely feels like the chefs are out in force this season. Typically in the previous patches, we didn't see so much cooking going on, but I don't know, maybe we're just a little bit more open. We're not shopping at McDonald's every single day now. And because of that, we're more easily aware of the chefs in the room. Let's just put that's our metaphor for today. But I'm probably going to have McDonald's for dinner tonight. I was thinking about it. So just there you go. Are we having a curse cast? This could be a curse cast. Keep an eye out for the curse cast. It could be happening. So what are our expectations? What do we think is going to be happening? Well, first and foremost, Zertan's probably going to be going up. I would be surprised with anything other than the Grand Winery. I mean, technically, how come? Oh, I'm clicking the wrong button. There we go. He technically could go for the Hippodrome, but I feel like the winery just makes so much more sense. He's also got a back winery position. He's going Hippodrome. He's going Hippodrome. That's a Hippo. Oh my lord, he's going Hippodrome. Okay, that's one less. I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for professional scouts plus Hippodrome. Who knows? Maybe we just never see it. I mean, we've seen professional scouts so far once in this patch, and maybe players are just a little bit fearful of the decay rate. Does it mention what the decay rate is? I don't know whether or not we actually get to see that in the little piece of information it gives you about professional scouts. I'll keep an eye on it. If we see any mills, we'll be sure to hover over it because it feels like it's probably one food every second. And so if you think about it, right, if it takes you 90 seconds to bring this food back to your base down here, and that's 350 food off your deer. So your deer has gone from 350 to 260. Like, that's a lot of decay. So who knows? Maybe there's another way that they could do it, or I don't know. I never want to jump the gun when it comes to balance patches, just mainly, or balance suggestions, just mainly because you gotta let it cook, right? It's just a classic case of put it in the oven for a little bit longer and see how you go. Anyway, we got the Imperial Hippodrome coming up here for Zertan. Now, keep in mind, there will be a number of champions that appear today. Champion Horseman, Champion Riddari, Champion Scout. Those are what we're going to be looking out for. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the age up does come through for Core. He's going up with just the Ark and Chapel, playing it nice and simple, nice and standard. Now, of course, if you like things that are simple and standard, you are not going to like what I've got to share with you, and that is that the Outback Octagon number 4. It's returning November 19. There's nothing standard about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting back, we're getting down, we're getting dirty. Make sure you check it out. You know where to find us. It's over on Twitch, and of course, it'll be posted on YouTube as well when we get around to it. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be pretty good with it. Don't worry. Anyway, age up is through. As you can see, Zertan is now looking for a champion. Unfortunately, the champions are always the same. There's a horseman in queue. There's a horseman in queue. That's okay. The champions are always the same. At least they come out initially. I got a little bit confused there. I was like, hold on. Is there a hero horseman that's about to come out? But no, he's just training a horseman. That's all he's doing. We do have Vils on stone here as well. We got a second TC coming through from Core. Not a bad little timing as well. Keep in mind, he's got all the stone that he needs, so he's easily able to come back here and chill out underneath the town center. Now, this is something I've long said for a very long time. I feel like if you're playing 2 TC, Order of the Dragon is one of the best civilizations for it, just primarily because your Vils are tankier. Why does that matter? It means that you can get more oomph in the town center. When you get things like textiles through, and your Vils have got, he wants to throw this, oh, this is a good spot. You can't do it right there, but you can do it right there. That's a good spot for a TC. So basically what it means is you've just got the ability to have tankier village. Oh my god, the timing on that horseman is absolute chef's kiss. The town center gets cancelled. Looks like we're going to have to go for a little bit of a closer TC here. I think you're probably going to have to take this one instead. Indeed, he does take this one instead. Horseman will probably try and be annoying here, but keep in mind, this horseman doesn't have a whole lot of health. We've now got the Hippodrome Scout to help, and we got a little bit of extra torch damage in there. Hippodrome Scout. Remember, the Hippodrome Scout provides extra torch damage to nearby units. Perhaps today we see the very first time that it's utilized in a competitive environment, but just keep in mind, we do have potential counters already in play. So I'm excited that we're going to see it getting torched down, but on the other side, it's like, we got emergency repairs. There's no emergency needed, or there's no emergency here. But, I mean, look at the damage that it does in the end. It does 600 damage, which, if you didn't have emergency repairs, would be very annoying to repair. But, of course, he does have emergency repairs, so he'll be absolutely fine. Let's check in on the other side of the map. How's Zertan doing? Let's hover over professional scouts. So, scouts gain the ability to carry animal carcasses and 100% damage against wild animals. Scouts move 55% slower, carrying and cannot pick up board. Deer slowly decay while being carried. So it doesn't tell you the specific rate that they decay. As I said, I suspect it's like 1 per second. That's kind of what it feels like. So maybe there is a lot more incentive to just stay out here and do this, even if, you know, 30% is 30%. Your Grand Winery is still pretty good. But is it going to be worth all that decay? Because if you're gathering faster, like, that's the other thing. Decay just doesn't feel good. That's the other thing to remember. Like, I remember in Age of Empires 3, when you had decay, like, you had to really play around it. You'd have a big herd here of bison, like, let's say 15 bison. And you get some people like GUA who'd just kill all of his bison. He didn't care, dude. He was a maniac, that guy. But then there were people like me with autism, and I'd be like, no, sir, the most bison we may have dead at any amount of time is 2. That is it. You cannot exceed 2. If it's more than 2, we've got trouble. And that was, you know, obviously I'm being a bit facetious here. There were times where we would go up to 3. But the whole point is you want to try and minimize decay. It doesn't feel good to be losing a resource. And because of that, perhaps we see this adversity from players with regard to professional scouts now. But anyway, neither of these players opting in that direction. Instead, going to be moving out here the good old-fashioned way. Beautiful opening here from Court. Now, I just want to compliment Court. I love this setup. I love this opening. I love the whole 2 town centers starting off as the Order of the Dragon. It just feels so good to do. Now, another thing to note. I'm noting a lot of things here. So, once again, we're noting another thing here. We've got quite similar colors, and I am apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm once again asking the devs, it would be really cool if you gave an option for like hot colors and cool colors, and then you just, whichever player chose their color first, and like, let's say you chose red, then you get the warm colors, right? Or the hot colors. And then the other player is limited to the cool colors. Something like that, you know, just as an example. Because it's really nice to be able to pick your own color, but at the same time, it's also really hard to tell the difference between this. And often, I know that players that are playing in a matchup like this, where your enemy picks blue and you've gone green, that often they'll end up doing, is it this button? No, this button? Yeah, this button right here, where you've got a red player and a blue player, and it just makes it, yeah, it's just one of those things, because you don't always realize that you've got it on the pick screen. Have a look at this. We got the Golden Horn Tower now firing down upon these villages. Now, there's a part of me that's tempted to leave it like this, but the trouble that we've got if we do this is the colors are going to switch, because we've got beautiful blue villages here from Zertan, but we change perspective. We want to go see what Core's up to, and now the villages are red. And now you're all confused because you just saw red gilded horsemen, but now they're blue, and what's going on with that? So, as I said, like, there's a part of me that really wants to do that. Now, technically, we could just keep it this way and then just never show you the perspective of the opponent player, but, you know, that kind of defeats the point. Actually, we could do that. I mean, we are playing as, we're kind of watching as the Macedonians here. We want to really focus on Zertan. So, you know what? We're going to do it. Good. Well done. Well done. We may accidentally change perspective and flip colors, but look, we'll do our best to remember not to. Anyway, we got blue-red. It's a good matchup. We like that color a little bit more. No second town center coming out from our Macedonian Dynasty player just yet. But he is now looking to put down the Varangian Arsenal. A little bit late on the Varangian Arsenal. He has been missing out on this silver that has been generating, or had the ability to generate over the course of the early game. But it's not a huge amount, so that's the other thing to note. Delaying the Varangian Arsenal doesn't hurt you in any... Excuse me. I just had one of those involuntary spasms. That you get when you drink sometimes, and I think it happens when you talk a lot, so I get that quite a bit. Burgrave Palace coming up on the other side. We're not going to have a look too much of it, though, or too much at it. 10 minutes is when that champion Riddari is coming through. But yeah, so you can see like straight away, you've got the mining camp and it's just going to start receiving that that silver immediately. So the only silver that you've been missing is that trickle of silver that would have been coming in otherwise. Let's take a look at the Golden Horn Tower. Has it gone into a blacksmith just yet? We don't see the blacksmith just yet. So we'll keep an eye out for it just because we're looking for one of those key upgrades. But now beginning to make his way down here. No champion Riddari just yet with these forces. He's going to try and find a connection on the villagers. No vill kills have happened this game so far. Gilded Spearman able to defend quite easily, forcing those villagers out. Don't be surprised if we see a wall put down here in the next couple of seconds. Riddari now making its way through. Keep in mind, he's got the ability to throw his axe if he so chooses. Maybe he wants to right now. 3, 2, 1. No, doesn't do the fadeaway. Doesn't go for it. Spears now being brought back the other side. Riddari going to come through. Nice balance from Zertan. Good control on this second town center. He's trying his best to weave his way through. Has the option to throw the axes if he so chooses. We'll have to keep an eye out for it. And you can see the way he's moving right now. He's got moves just like Jagger. Over into the other side, those vills go, and we can see just how well he's performing here. I think he could look for a trapping maneuver if he wanted to. The Riddari's gone down. That was the champion as well. An expensive loss here for Zertan. Just a very small, minuscule amount of attention he didn't pay to that one unit, but he gets a couple vills for it. He gets 2. Might get a 3rd here if he's lucky. Unlucky. No bueno. Now more Riddari making their way to the top side. You can see he's under real pressure here. Zertan really looking to step up his attention to detail. Back towards the other side. More and more cavalry joining the field. Look at the amount of cav he's got just sitting here around the base. That's the first relic that's going to get knocked down. Keep in mind, Zertan's already got 2. 1 in the bag, 1 holding. Actually, I take it back. He's got 2 in the bag right now. Also got our first cav upgrades coming through. Oh, I was looking for blacksmith before. I was looking for blacksmith. You silly drongo. He doesn't have a blacksmith. He's got a Varangian arsenal. We were looking for this upgrade, Military Academy. There's a part of me that thinks rushing this upgrade is actually quite a smart move when you've got the Golden Horn Tower, just because it gets those crossbowmen out all that bit faster. So something to keep in mind here. But am I wrong about that? I'm surely not wrong about that. It's obviously the way that it works with the Ottomans, so it has to be that way, surely. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. I'm sure he'll pick it up eventually, and we can keep an eye out. Just remember, it's about 2 minutes. I think 1 minute and 50 seconds for a set of crossbows that you're getting trickled out. So it's really nice, and it's great to be able to rely on. But one of the things to note is it very much becomes predictable in the same way that the Chinese are predictable. What do I mean by that? Well, astronomical clock tower. If you see the astronomical clock tower, you know, hey, there's probably going to be siege coming out here. So in the sense, while Chinese like to play siege, they're also somewhat forced to play siege if they pick that landmark. Of course, you don't have to make siege, but as they say, when in Rome. So it's definitely a similar case here in the sense that, oh, I've spotted out my opponents going crossbow, so I can kind of predict what they're going to be doing. I can preemptively prepare a mangonel or horsemen or archers or some sort of counter that may potentially come through. So you get a bit of an idea on the direction that they're going. But now the Riddari make their way around that top side. A little bit of extra attack here for them. They've got the champion horsemen with them, forcing those vills off the gold vein. Not going to be able to find any luck with this raid. Now, instead, potentially sieging down the outpost. Keep in mind, we've got that extra torch damage, so we may as well use it. There it is, this bad boy right here, an extra 35%. At first, you look at it and you're like, yeah, meh. And then you see it and you're like, hey, there are applications for this. I can totally see this as a thing. Now, one thing I want to check on, did we use emergency repairs? We never used emergency repairs down here. We could use it out here, so maybe Core just doesn't want to use it yet. A couple more houses going to be coming down around the gold vein. Very well positioned as well. Can I just compliment him on that? The fact that he's looking to try and block enemy units that are going to be coming through here, so going to hurt their pathing. We saw the villagers just escape seconds ago from those Riddari. But speaking of raids, have a look at this as the Gilded Knight now makes his first kill of the game. He begins charging down the hill. Zertan going to be running for his life. These vills, unfortunately, are going to be subject to his wrath, his domain. Crossbows out, though. Able to protect. He's got 9 crossbows. So these have just been slowly building. He's just got 9 free crossbows just chilling out here. Don't mind if I do. Meanwhile, back towards that other side of the map, you can see those beautiful... God, you know, it never gets old looking at these units. They are so damn good looking, aren't they? Like, you've got to say it. There's no discussion. I mean, maybe the Byzantine units are... Like a Byzantine Varangian guard, there's a good look on that. But these are very good looking units. I do like them. I do like them quite a lot. I tell you what, if I was dressing up for Halloween, which I'm not because it's already been Halloween, and well, maybe next year, I might go as a spearman. I might go as an Order of the Dragon spearman in the Castle Age. That's what I'll do. Not many people will recognize me, but there'll be that one guy who'll be like, "Hey, are you the Holy Roman?" And I'll have to whack him. I'll be like, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare say that civilization name around here." All right, let's check in on the mining camps back home with Zert and see how he's doing. We've got the first one that's just come up. No Varangian arsenal here with it just yet. Of course, we've got this one back here that's empowering this mining camp with a total of 185, just shy of 200 per minute on the silver. We've got this stone towards the front of the base, yet to be taken, so no mining camp there that we can really check on. So at this stage of the game, everything is just slowly working its way forward. Let's switch it over to income per minute, get a bit of an idea on where these economies currently stand. Keep in mind, Core has the advantage with regard to the villager count, but when it comes to the relic count, it is a 4-1 split in favor of Zerton. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Zerton's still yet to add in that second town center. He's been doing a little bit of raiding. Hasn't really found a lot of success, though. When it comes to villager health, there's one in here that's got quite low health. This guy's going to be going down. That Riddari very quickly lost its life. Second Riddari also getting focused down. He's trying his best to squeeze through here unnoticed, but unfortunately, he does get spotted. Meanwhile, towards the front, once again, and this is the other great thing about this this champion scout, is it's just like you just get value all the time. Whenever you're sieging shit down, it's just like we're just sieging it down faster, and it could be the difference between sieging a building down and not being able to do it. Like, can you imagine going for landmark or base races with this specific scout? Like, that's incredible. 35%. And the other thing to remember, and this is a really important point, is that buildings have got fire armor, right? Like, at the moment, we've got 0 versus fire, but after a couple of upgrades, that's going to be significant. And what will happen is, as our torch damage goes up, we've got 17 torch damage when we've got this buff being applied to us. Well, sorry, when we don't have the buff being applied to us. When we do have the buff being applied, it's an extra 35%. The point is that it's going to be able to cut through that armor. That's part of the reason why Order of the Dragon and Holy Roman Empire are so damn difficult to deal with, because if we do dare ride on board with Core just for a moment as everything turns blue, you've got access to the Elsbach Palace, which has got access to some really good upgrades that allow you to increase that fire armor. And that is really where it starts to get scary when you're potentially looking at sieging down an opponent. I know from FFA's experience how difficult it can be. So it could be one of those little ways that you can just help survive a bit longer, or not survive a bit longer, but siege a little bit more effectively. Archer number starting to look pretty good here as well for Zerton. Military pop difference between these two is really starting to burgeon, though. 23 spears on the field for Core, so he should be able to defend relatively easily. But he's having a bit of trouble at range. Springwood in placement. Now going to be firing off as well. And we ride on board as the siege really begins to lay waste. Keep in mind, there's no siege units here either. Like a battering ram or two would be doing absolute work right now. You're buying so much time for it, but still not able to do it. Not able to crack the nut just yet. Zerton walks away and says, okay, where do we go from here? Well, we go back to our base because we're being raided. We've lost another villager here. This one Gilded Knight might even pick up a third one. Indeed, it does. Spears, rather, at Gurmidas. At Gurmida? At Gurmida. We got it. At Gurmida. I got that without even looking, purely from memory. Don't worry about the early onset Alzheimer's, guys. We're clear. We're in the clear here. We got that one. We got at Gurmida. Atheists, where... prove this atheist. Disprove this atheist. What? I've immediately put my foot in it right now, where I'm like, I can't remember what's the atheism meme now. Disprove this atheists. Something something. Where is your God? It's all right. We'll worry about that another day. Don't worry. I'll talk about it with my neuro. We'll be okay. All right, Monastery in the back. You can see he's got all of these relics ready to go. Unfortunately, no Grand Winery means not a grand amount of silver today. How's he tracking on silver back here? 188 on this bad boy, and no Varangian Arsenal on this one. It's okay. It's all right. It's one of those things where, over time, you will remember as you play more, and I suspect Zerton's still probably in those early phases of playing at the moment. Meanwhile, back towards the base, we just got a casual triple outpost coming up in the back for Core. Love to see it. He's really expanding that economy, by the way. Can we just take a look at the amount of farms? Talk about farms. Holy dooly. He's at 86 vills. And keep in mind, these are Order of the Dragonvilles as well. That's the other thing to note. While he's got an economic lead, he's also got a really strong villager base to be working with. So at the 20-minute mark, you've got to give him the advantage here. Let's take a look at how these two stack up. You're looking at about 3.1, 3.2k, somewhere in that region. For Zertan on the other side, you're looking for a little bit less than 2.5k. So Core definitely with a lead at the moment. I suspect that's going to continue to increase as these villagers do their work on these farms, and that will go from 1,800, probably closer to about 2,500 per minute. He's got a huge amount of farms back here. How many farms are we talking? Let me click on this villager and switch. 57 farms. 57 farms at 20 minutes. That's an amazing amount of farms. That is crazy. That's such a big investment. All Core needs to do right now is basically not die, and he wins the game. I'm putting it out there. Like, there is no reasonable world where Core should lose this game after investing so heavily into his economy. A huge amount of farms, a huge amount of villagers. This looks very good for him. I would say that right now. But Zertan is angry. You can tell by the way he walks, he is an angry man. And now, continuing to kite back. A lot of infantry on this front line. A bit of an awkward spot here as the Riddari try and make their way through. We haven't seen him use the throw axes yet until he immediately pops it as I say that. That's the first time today I think we've seen it. Unfortunately, runs a little bit too close for comfort. I think there's definitely a world where you may just want to skirmish with these units and pretend that they're Dragoons from Age of Empires 3. That could be a real thing. Now Archers looking to try and tee off on those back units, able to find connections, but the Riddari doing a wonderful job of getting up close and personal as I think all the Gilded Spears have gone out. Now remember what I said earlier, the only way that Core loses this is if he dies, which is very intelligent. Thank you, Drongo. Another great word of wisdom right there. But the point I'm trying to make is he needs to survive right now. As long as he survives this right here, this battle right here, it's going to be a downward game for him in the sense that he's going to be, well, downhill game. That it's going to be easy for him. It's all downhill from here. That's essentially what I'm saying. Zertan, on the other hand, I mean, I'd be surprised. How is he going to pull this back? What does he look to do? Because he's just gone into the Dragon's Den, and the Dragon's Den has chewed him up, spit him out, and pushed him across the map. So now we got to go back to the drawing board. Do we go for a second TC? I don't know if it's going to work. See, this is the struggle. Because I feel like he can't even really go for Exodia at this point because he hasn't been gathering up all of the stone, all of the gold. And, you know, if you can do that and if you can leverage that and move into the silver, then there's the chance that you can potentially hit the Imperial Age, go for some crazy cataphracts, look for a cool timing. But we just don't see that here. There's a part of me that thinks maybe going into a second TC as the Macedonians just might be legit because with more villagers, you gather more resources and more villagers equals more cataphracts. Logic. I am full of wisdom today, lads. Man, I got so much wisdom coming out for you. Can you imagine the amount of wisdom we're about to unleash when it gets to the Outback Octagon? There is going to be crazy amounts of wisdom out there. And speaking of which, I mean, I know that we've already done it, but make sure you tune in. November 19, it is returning, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. It's going to be good fun. We got lots of good stuff planned. I'll say that right now. Some fun maps as well. We may have some new additions that you'll be very excited to see. And every single map is going to be on the brand new biomes as well. I'm going to say that. Sorry, Cow. I know he doesn't want to, but anyway, we got ourselves more Riddari throwing down at the back. I really like the idea of the Riddari just throwing down and then just getting on out and dodging, and that's exactly what it looks like Zertan's going to be doing here. I think it makes a lot of sense. These guys have got a lot of damage, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's cool. And I think there's definitely a little bit of a bait that you can do with them in the sense that you can charge forward, and as you charge forward, the spears come out. You back out. You try for another charge, get the spears to come out a little bit further, and as those spears come out again, that's when you move away, pop your throwing dagger, and boom. Sorry, throwing axes. I'm sure there'll be people that get disappointed that I've called those daggers. Sir, an axe is not a dagger. I know. I was a rogue. It's okay. Calm down. Very different weapons. What even uses an axe? I'm thinking right now. Like, from the World of Warcraft perspective, I don't know what uses an axe. Probably like a warrior? It would use like... I mean, I guess you could use an axe, but it probably has a two-hand. I don't even know if weapons really matter in World of Warcraft. I was never big on WoW. That's the other thing. I was an Arc-Age gamer. I mean, and anyone who's an OG around here knows I played a lot of Arc-Age. And we didn't have rogues per se, but we definitely had similar classes. I'll say that right now, looking at you, Dark Runner. Anyway, Different weapons. I can tell you right now. Dagger. A different weapon from an axe. Hence the name. Maybe it could be different language. Perhaps. It's not. Riddari out here. Good little defense. At the moment, it feels like the longer this goes on... Sorry, I'm switching between the two. I feel like the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to get for Zertan, because I suspect it's only a matter of time until we've got ourselves an age up coming through. And of course, with 108 villages, there's only one way it's going to go. And that makes everything so much harder. It makes it harder to kill the enemy. It makes it harder to contest gold veins or stone mines. It's just not fun playing against the Elsbach Palace. So we'll see whether or not Core makes that decision. He's maxed out at this point in the game. So realistically, he's got two ways he can play it. He can look to secure a little bit more gold. He's got villagers out here now. He could drop a market and look for a bit of a trade if he wanted. Another option for him. But I suspect it's only a matter of time until we see that age up. And I think from there, you can just pretty much go for a conversion. Right? Like, he's played a very solid game. And I think this is kind of like the perfect... There's the Elsbach now. So, yeah, I think he's just dropped the market and gone for it. Can we quickly check the market? Does he have a market? Has he got it? Is it? Yeah, there's the market. And we hover... Yeah, so he's sold wood as well. Cool. All right. So we got our answer. Zertan going to try and scratch the belly of the dragon once again. But, of course, not a whole lot of damage done. Poor man. And now this is just a waiting game. I feel like at this stage, Zertan's in a classic case where, look, you scouted a second TC early and you made your bed. You said, I'm going to go fast castle. I'm going to try and finish him off. And unfortunately, you didn't. And now it's like, now we got to kind of live with it. We didn't do enough damage. Like, he's only taken out 5 workers. If he was able to tank out more workers, yes. Or if he was able to kill that town center, definitely. Mango. Nothing on the first shot. He's going to be looking deep here. Keep in mind, we're getting upgrades on the way. Cannon emplacement coming through. Decent mango shots. Not bad. Mango shots here. Keep in mind those horsemen up towards the top. He does not drop at all. He sees exactly what's going on. He's beautiful coverage right here as well. With the archers, just making sure, and the horsemen will eventually make a connection. Only a single one breaking through, but he manages to get the surround in the end. First one goes down. Second one, it's moved and never got redeployed, unfortunately. More upgrades continuing to come through. Elite archers on the way, as well as the third mangonel rolls in off the platform. Zertan knows how much he needs to commit at this moment. The age up has just come through. He needs to try his best to guarantee that he can maintain that military superiority. And that's the hard part right now, is that he's fighting an uphill battle. All of his units are at the front right now, killing the reinforcements of his opponent, but those reinforcements are instant, and he's got this beautiful little pocket that he's able to play into. Treb's going to go down here. Interesting decision to go into a Treb, but a Treb nonetheless. And now those archers looking pretty decent. Now, how are we doing on upgrades? Not particularly well. I will say right now, it feels like Zertan is really not playing the Macedonians when he could be playing the Macedonians. You get what I mean? I don't know if you get what I mean. The point that I'm trying to make here is, like, there's a lot of upgrades, there's a lot of potential that we just really haven't seen fully fleshed out just yet, disappointingly. A whole bunch of silver that's deposited here, but unfortunately we don't see that trickle coming through yet. So look, at the moment I'll say Zertan, he's still cooking. Let the man cook. We'll come back in maybe another 10 games, another 12 games, and Zertan's going to be an absolute beast. I can say it right now. I expect him to be a beast. We will be seeing him on the Macedonians almost certainly come Outback Octagon. Probably not. I mean, not almost certainly, but there's probably like I would say an 18% chance he'll play the Macedonians. So it'll take time. It'll take time, but he's in the base. He's killing his dudes. But if I'm Core right now, I'm not worried. Why am I not worried? Number one, I'm not worried because I'm Imperial Age. I've got a huge economy. I've got buildings that are never going to die. They're part of my reasons why I'm not worried. Number two, I'm just going to keep sending reinforcements to this position, and eventually I'm going to be able to repel my opponent. At least that's the hope. I mean, at the end of the day, Zertan is on 84 villages. Is there a world where he potentially pulls this back? Perhaps. I mean, he's sitting at 2,000 silver, a decent amount of silver, enough for 3 sets of cataphracts if he were to dabble. But keep in mind, elite spearmen not yet through, but it will be shortly. And when those elite spears are out, it's going to make very short work of any potential cataphracts that are on the field. You probably want to avoid your opponent going those. You probably even want to bait them away from it. Maybe going like Varangian crossbow could be the best play, and then you get Imperial Age and just immediately switch into mass cataphract. I mean, then the enemy might have crossbow already prepared. I don't know. It probably works out. I'm sure there's something in there that you could try and fiddle, but Zertan managing to find a potential avenue to stay in this game here. You know, I'd kind of called it just minutes ago. But the Riddari continue to flood into the base. More units rallying down here. He's got those free crossbowmen. Not those 3 crossbowmen, those free crossbowmen. Those free 3 crossbowmen. And he's able to clean this up. But the military number, it doesn't seem to fall. And that's because the reinforcements into this position just work. Now, we could have thrown the elves back in here and it would have been a different ballgame. But it's down here towards the south. And this actually makes a lot of sense. Because if this Elsbach, let's say hypothetically, was towards this position, well then Zertan just pressures down here instead. And then if Zertan pressures down here, you don't have gold. And if you don't have gold, well, as we know with the Order of the Dragon, if you don't have gold, you don't have a hope. So it is a smart move by Core to have done this. Because it might not seem like the Elsbach is doing much down here. And yeah, you're right. But it's a deterrent. It is the fact that it exists purely in that position, excuse me, that you're unable to contest down there. So we now actually see he's moving down towards this position. He's unaware. But he will be aware shortly. I guess the other thing to note is if the Elsbach was here, he'd probably go look elsewhere, wouldn't he? And then he'd eventually find that. And it would have happened a lot sooner. So I'll stand on that point. We've got incendiary arrows now coming through for Core. Still no sign of Imperial Age for Zertan. He is committing 100% to the Castle Age bid at this stage of the game. Riddari moving up towards the north. It really felt like on a map like Gorge, the Riddari, we couldn't see them in all their glory. You know, I feel like they really need something behind the base so that they can loop through. The fact that you've got that wood line there really stops them, and then you don't get to see that same beauty that you normally do. You want a kind of open map for the Riddari. I think that's going to be the best way, and now we can see the Springalds firing down on those villagers. Landmark will finally go down here. Emergency repairs has been used multiple times, but in the end, the Kairusophont will take the first of the landmarks, and Zertan is on the board, baby. Now, he might be a couple of thousand points behind on the score. Don't mind the score. That's a small detail at this stage of the game. He's picking up sacred sites as well. What's impressive here is that Core still is he's just keeping on. And I think that's the other thing to note is he's lost vills, but not a huge amount. And now, the question is he going to be able to hold? I think the answer is almost certainly yes. Largely because of the fact he's got emergency repairs. He's got so many defensive bonuses. Has he picked up defensive bonuses? No. We don't have slate and stone construction. We haven't picked up reinforced defenses yet. There's still a lot of things he could be throwing down if he wanted to as the Vills throw down on the outpost to the south. Still got gold on this side of the map. And I think that's another thing to note is the Macedonians, you're probably better trying to secure your own gold before you secure... Oh, I don't know. I don't want to make that commitment right now. But there's a part of me that thinks if you take the enemy gold, you definitely want to secure the enemy gold, but if you take the enemy gold, you have to defend it, and if you lose it, then you're losing all of that silver that you've generated, that deposit of silver. Riddari forced away, and now we start to see, it looks like Core may be pushing out of his base. All sacred sites have been taken, but look at this. Core is starting to really push now. And I think it's only a matter of time before Zertan goes, you know what, like, I'm not denying anything from you here. You're Imperial Age. I don't really have much of a way up in this stage. Like, where does he possibly find room to breathe or to move to get Imperial here? He's going to fall back away from the base, but look at the surround now coming through. Gilded Horseman to the top side. He's not been paying attention. The Archer's a little bit out of position here, and the numbers starting to look a little bit better for Core as the Gilded Crossbowmen come up as well. Those Riddari are going to be absolutely obliterated there. One shot by about half of the Gilded Crossbowmen. Those poor Riddari. And now the Horsemen tanking up on the front line. They've got their elite upgrades, 360 health. No biology just yet, but it's about to arrive. And the numbers continue to build here on the defense, and that is the game. Okay, well, it wasn't meant to end like that, but it did. I suspect what happened there, as I'll throw this up on the screen for you. I suspect what happened there is we have seen the resign of, well, obviously not of Core. Core has won the game because he was clearly pushing out. So anyway, a bit awkward of an ending here, but nonetheless, there you go. Good game, well played. Make sure you check these creators out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch them live. And of course, make sure you check out the Outback Octagon. It is returning November 19. Be there or be square.